That's right. It's 6 o'clock, so let's get started. You want to start with the roll call?
Larry Chesney.
Here.
Bruce Stanbrook. Joe Everett.
Yes.
Stanley Hedrick.
Here.
Brian King.
Here. Okay. Evacuation. You want me to cover that, or do you want to do it?
Let's see if it works.
Before we get started, let me read the emergency evacuation procedures. In the event of an emergency evacuation, an alarm will sound. Everyone should exit the building by way of the nearest stairwell in a safe and effective manner. If the nearest stairwell is blocked by smoke, use the other stairwell. Do not use the elevator. Once you've reached the main floor, follow the exit signs to exit the building and quickly proceed away from the building. Please be mindful of others evacuating and of emergency vehicles.
Okay, the next item is approval of the minutes for our last meeting. Do I hear a motion to approve as read, or do you have changes you want to make? Stanley moves to approve.
Second.
Second. The only item we have tonight is a variance request. So Thomas will read a brief summary of your request, and then we'll ask for anyone that's in favor, which I assume is you, and then we'll ask if anyone is opposed to it, and then we'll have a discussion between us and you. Okay? So that's how the process works. Thomas?
Technical difficulty. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the request is for a reduction of the rear yard setback. This is in a platted campground, and different setbacks apply for the campgrounds. In this case, the sides and rear are 5 feet. The front can actually be 0 as long as it's 15 feet from the edge of pavement. In this case, they're asking they only need a variance on what would be considered the rear, because it's a corner lot, right? So the rear yard setback will be reduced from 5 feet. The request puts it around 1 foot, maybe a little less than 1 foot. It's very similar to pretty much everything else in the campground, so it's not unusual in that regards. In fact, the board may remember the adjacent property. We actually looked at a variance for it back in the summer, and as a result of that, there was actually a property line adjustment between that property and this property, because there was some encroachment issues where each one of them had something on the other property. So that's all been resolved. As with all variances, if the board were to approve it, it would allow for no further encroachment beyond that's approved, and staff recommends approval.
Anyone here in favor of this request? Are you in favor of this request?
Yes.
Would you step up to the microphone, please? Okay. And give us your name, please.
Sure. I'm Fred Weiser. I'm a friend and quasi-neighbor, I guess, of Ruth. And basically, she wants to put in a Carolina carport. And we're still on her property line, but encroaching into the 5 foot. It's on the rear. It's on the side rear, so it's really on the side side of her lot. Will still be 12 to 14 inches inside of that. So it's just that one post for the rear of the carport, but on the very side of her lot. So it's.
So the structure sits on the existing concrete.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Where you park your car, you have your car parked on the concrete. It just sits right there.
You can't. I don't have any.
Okay.
Got a copy of that if you'd like to look at that. Or.
And Thomas, they have a survey.
Yes, sir. It is included in the plan.
And this is fairly common in the area. Actually, ma'am, your house is one of the nicer ones there.
What?
Yours is one of the nicer ones there. You look like you maintain it well.
Yes.
Yeah.
The point in question is very bad.
Yeah. I'm seeing it. I'm okay. Anybody have a question for the Fred?
Fred, right? Mm-hmm.
You're Fred, right?
Yes, huh? Yeah.
Anybody have any questions for Fred? Comments?
There's a POA in there, I think, in the slip. Yes. Nobody's complained about that.
It's fairly common.
The
You drive around.
structure you're going to put up, it, even with overhang strips and all, it still be maintained within inside the proper boundaries?
Right. It'll have a 6 inches of Carolina carport. It's the more expensive model, with the peaked roof, et cetera. And it'll have a 6-inch overhang on each side.
So it still maintains everything?
Right. Still within the property line.
Any further questions? Do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Ryan, motion to accept. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Hear a second.
Joe,
Yes.
Stanley,
Yes.
Brian,
Yes.
Larry.
Yes. Your request is approved. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you for coming for just us. Appreciate it. Yeah.
So I just want to remind you, you will need, of course, you'll need a building permit for
Right,
this.
right, roofing, okay.
And so what I'll do tomorrow when I go in the office is I'll write up a letter that
great.
tells you what the board's action was tonight and include that in the file. So whenever you come in for the building permit, we'll include that and you're good to go.
Super. Okay. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Colors are peaking cage coat. I was in this morning with my daughter, and it's awesome. Cage coat, the colors right out.